So, I am a full time entrepreneur. I travel for work often, I travel for pleasure often, and I am busy AF. I run a coaching company for a living. I have a team of seven. We have clients across three different coaching programs. And with all of that, I am also a full time whole food plant based vegan who really, really values health at a high level. And so, one of the challenges that people have when they're trying to prioritize their health, but they also have other responsibilities is how do I maintain this high level, this high standard when it comes to my health and other things that I value? It might be your faith, it might be your physical fitness. How do I maintain a high standard in my personal values while I'm also trying to maintain a high standard of excellence in my professional values? And so I'm going to tell you guys today 4 ways that I personally maintain my whole food plant-based vegan lifestyle as a busy full-time entrepreneur. And like I'm full time, like, okay, let me be clear when I say full-time entrepreneur. Like I'm not trying to get stuff off the ground. Okay. Like we're off the ground, we're in the air and we're fully active. Okay. So I don't have the luxury of, popping in and out of my business when I feel like it. Like there are some people where they're at that stage in business where it's just like, I'm trying to get things together. I'm trying to formulate, my back end, what I'm selling. And so they pop in and out of their business. Like they're not taking their business serious yet. Right. I'm years past that stage. So I want to be clear where I am in business so that you guys understand. Like I was just telling somebody this morning that I realized that for so long, I've been wearing so many hats in my business. So I'm sales and marketing department, right? I'm product creation and service delivery department, right? And I am back end and operations. Like all of that stuff has to happen in my business on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And so when I say I'm full time in my business, like this is what I do for multiple hours a week, right? And I'm going to do a time audit, I think, soon to get an idea of how many hours I really work per week because it's a lot, right? And my business requires a lot. And I also love it, which is also part of like how I trick myself into thinking that I don't need as much time off. It's because I actually love what I do. But I also value health at a high level. So I would say on my personal value scale, health is actually not my number one value system, but it is in my top three. Okay. And because I value health so much and because I have a company where we prioritize the health of other people, I have also a fiduciary responsibility to be healthy. And so I have to make sure I maintain my value system in the midst of being super busy as an entrepreneur, right? It's like super important that I prioritize health, right? And so let's talk about 4 ways that I maintain my plant-based vegan lifestyle as a busy traveling entrepreneur. And this is really apropos because like I was just in LA 2 weeks ago. I'm in Austin this week, right? And so we just got stuff coming up, right? And so like the things I'm about to tell you guys is like things I really do. It's not things that I've done. It's not things that I like am suspecting could work. This is what I have to do in order to maintain my health on a day-to-day basis, busy as heck, but then also on the road when I'm traveling. So shout out to Dr. Travis. Got your pen and paper ready. Let's go. So here it is. The first one is very simply the number one tip I give our students when they are trying to be plant-based in their life is you have to demand inclusion. So let me explain to you guys what that means because so many of us are trying to make changes in our life personally. And we're sometimes so pressed about keeping it so close to the chest that we sabotage our own experience because we're trying to either stay private or we're afraid of public failure. And so we sometimes don't do ourselves a due diligence and do ourselves a service by demanding inclusion. So one of the ways that I make sure that I'm able to adhere to my whole food, plant-based vegan lifestyle, no sugar, I'm not a junk food vegan, On the road is I demand inclusion. That means when it comes to speaking gigs, when that comes to work meetings, when that comes to conferences, when that comes to long flights on an airplane, when it comes to booking my accommodations, I demand inclusion. So let me give you guys a couple of examples. So when it comes to gigs, for example, so when I was in LA last week, I was going to a vegan event. I was speaking at the Vegan Women's Summit. And so I wasn't worried about being able to eat there. Okay, no problem. However, in like 2 months, almost 2 months, yeah, in 2 months, I'm going to be in DC for another speaking engagement, right? And at that speaking engagement, that's not a vegan event. It's not a vegan conference. And I'm going to be at that speaking engagement for 5 days. I'm speaking multiple times over like 4 or 5 days, right? And so when she booked me to speak, she wants me to specifically come speak on plant-based living, plant-based nutrition. And I told her, like, okay, that's cool. I know this isn't a plant-based conference. However, I'm gonna need you to make sure I'm accommodated dietarily over the course of these 5 days. Like, I'm not just coming in to speak for 1 hour on one day of her event. It's a multi-day event and she wants me there for multiple days. So she's, booking my travel, she's booking my hotel, but also I was like, yo, at the conference, because you want me there for hours every day, don't have me in there when I don't have anything to eat. And so sometimes when we are living a lifestyle and we have core values, but we're living a lifestyle that many people don't necessarily live, and we know we're the minority, some of us have apprehension about bringing up our preferences or our lifestyle because we don't want to be a problem, but they want you in the room, right? And so I had to recognize that for this gig, like, yo, I'm gonna need you to have me some. I don't want scraps. Like, don't come in here with no romaine lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers. Like, I'm gonna need a proper meal every day. So let's figure out how we can make that happen. You can either work it into your catering, whoever's catering the event, and tell them you're gonna have plant-based people at the event and we need options, or you can do something special for me on the side. Give me a stipend or something and pay for me to get food delivered to the hotel or wherever the event is. But you got to demand inclusion. Like, there's no reason I should be somewhere for 5 days working for someone else or another entity, and things like my dietary preferences are not taken into consideration, right? And so I demand inclusion when it comes to gigs. I also demand inclusion when it comes to work meetings or when I travel. So like, when it comes to work meetings, I make sure if this is going to be a work meeting where there's going to be food, again, I tell the organizer, hey, I'm plant-based vegan. This is what vegan means, because vegan people think it means vegetarian. They'll still have a bunch of eggs or cheese on stuff. And so I make sure I tell people, like, yo, this is how I eat. This is how I don't eat. I need to be accommodated if if we're going to do this thing. Otherwise, let's not even meet at a restaurant. I'll eat beforehand and we can have a meeting somewhere else, right? But then also on airplanes, right? When I fly long flights, right? You got to make sure that the airline knows your dietary preferences. I made the horrible mistake one time of thinking I could choose a vegan meal when I was on the plane. I didn't know at that time that you had to select, if you had special dietary requests, you had to select it before the flight. I took that whole flight with no food. It was brutal. I can't remember what country I was going to, but it was crazy, right? And so demanding inclusion, but I also demand inclusion when I travel, when it comes to like lounges and things, right? In the airport, like super important. And so just making sure, because I fly mostly Delta, right? So on my Delta profile, right, I've marked myself as vegan. So all of this is like super important, because you just want to make sure that you're not the problem. Like, sometimes you're the reason you don't have options. You know what I'm saying? Because you're not telling people. And so I'm going on a retreat. We're taking our clients on a retreat in a couple of days in Austin. And I have a travel coordinator that books all of our travel for my company, right? And so last year we took our clients to Portland, Oregon. And then another retreat we did last year was to Arizona, Carefree, Arizona. And then this week we're going to Austin, Texas. In the fall, we're going to Mexico. And so I have a company that books all of our travel. Shout out to Nia. She's phenomenal, right? And she knows already when I'm booking travel for Lisa's retreats, when I'm booking travel for her and her clients, it has to be at a vegan friendly accommodations, vegan friendly resort if we're doing a resort. So this week we're doing a resort. So she knew when she sent me the options to choose, like, Lisa, I think I found 3 resorts that you might like in 3 different cities. Look at these. Tell me what you think. All 3 of them were already vegan friendly, right? I didn't have to look at the menu. She already knows she's plant-based. She runs a plant-based company. So you have to make sure that your service providers know your preferences. If you have a private assistant and somebody who books travel or books appointments for you, or maybe they book working dinners for you, make sure you demand inclusion. That shouldn't be a sidebar conversation, but you really want to make sure that you demand inclusion in every situation, whether it's private or whether it's professional, right? If I go out to dinner with friends, they know, right? If I'm, hanging out with somebody, they know, like, we have to go somewhere where I can eat too, not somewhere that has like a passive salad on the menu that can be considered vegan, but I need options. Okay. So you have to demand inclusion. Many times there's nothing for you because you didn't demand that there be anything for you. Okay. So as you're traveling, as you're busy, you got to demand inclusion. Number 2, the second way I maintain my lifestyle on the road as a busy entrepreneur traveling is apps and services, right? So I have an app that I use. I love this app. I use it domestically and internationally. And it's called Happy Cow. I love the Happy Cow app. It's a pretty popular app, and it's an app you can use to find plant-friendly restaurants near you. You can find, and what I love about it is that it'll show you restaurants that has plant-based options, but may not be 100% plant-based. So if you're dining with someone who's not vegan or not plant-based, the app will find you places that has accommodations for both of you, right? So I love Happy Cow. And then I love services like food delivery and grocery delivery services. So when it comes to services, when it comes to food, you have 2 types of services. You have done with you and done for you. Done with you and done for you. So an example of a done with you service is going to be something like Purple Carrot. Because they're going to deliver vegan meal boxes to you, but you still have to cook the food, right? So some of you guys don't mind cooking, you like cooking, you just don't know what to cook. So for people who struggle with what should I cook, something like Purple Carrot or one of those meal delivery meal box services will be really useful because it can give you meal ideas. You're still cooking the food from scratch, but they come with the recipe and they come with the ingredients. So that's done with you, right? Or I like to sometimes order groceries online. I like to order groceries from a company called Imperfect Foods, right? And so they are a grocery delivery service. And again, that's done with you. Like, we'll gather the stuff, we'll send it to you, we'll make it convenient, but then you still have to prepare it, right? But then you also have services like Done For You, where you could get food delivered directly to you, and all you have to do is heat and eat. Right. So that is going to be something like Daily Harvest, right? So I use Daily Harvest sometimes because you can get meals, but you can also get smoothies that are, all you got to do is dump them into the blender and blend, right? And so you can do those services that makes it really easy to pack meals, travel with them. Or if you're just at home and you're really busy and you don't have time to cook, but you refuse to compromise your non-negotiables in your health. So apps and services, and then also things like the Delta Sky Lounge. Like, part of the reason I have Delta Sky Lounge because it just comes with my credit card, right? To be honest with you, like, I just get access to all the Sky Lounges because of my credit card. But even if I didn't, I would pay for it if I had to, because, which I am paying for it through my credit card, right? Shout out to that annual fee from American Express. But I will pay for it because at the airport, the Delta Sky Lounge almost always has vegan options for me, when the airport may not, right? But the Sky Lounge will, especially if I'm in certain cities like Austin, Portland. There's just certain cities who are just naturally vegan friendly, and their Sky Lounge at their airport reflects that. And so I pay for services where I know I'm going to have options as well. Right. And so things like the Sky Lounge or apps like Happy Cow or services where I can get meals and food delivered to me so that I can keep working and don't have to stop to cook all the time. So That's super important. And even you guys already know things like Uber Eats and things like that. Because if I am at a conference where I couldn't demand inclusion. So let's say, I go to a speaker conference or I go to a personal development conference and I really didn't get to have a say in the food that they're going to have there, then I have like multiple times in the past just ordered food from my phone, get it delivered to the hotel at the conference, right? So just getting food delivered to wherever the conference is being held is a thing, as you guys know, right? That's a no-brainer. But like, you don't have to suffer through trash options at these events, right? Like, it would be ideal if you reach out to the organizer before the event, like, hey, just checking in, want to make sure you guys are going to have vegan options. But if they don't, then you want to use something like, a Uber Eats or something like that to get food delivered to wherever the event is. Okay. So apps and services are like a gold mine because I really, really, really believe in paying for peace. The third way that I maintain my lifestyle, being busy and like being serious about being plant-based, is pack your own food or cook on the go. So a lot of times when I travel, I have like my go-to meals that I love making because they travel so beautifully. So like my chickpea tuna travels so well. So I forgot, what airport was I in? I think, was I in Spain? I was at some airport and I remember walking around trying to look for options and I had forgot that I had made a chickpea tuna sandwich. I was so excited about it. I'm like, oh, I got a sandwich. So, but like so having a couple, I would say having yourself like 2 to 3 plant-based meals that travel well, right? So that means, when I say it travels well, that means ideally it doesn't have to be heated up. It will taste good room temperature. And it can, and ideally it doesn't even have to necessarily be refrigerated. So for me, that is definitely my chickpea tuna. It travels well and something that's easy to eat on the go. Like, I usually won't make something that's hard to eat. Like I'm not gonna make my favorite meal, which is quinoa meat tacos or nachos, because that doesn't travel well, right? You got to put too much stuff together, unless I do like a taco bowl. But then sometimes the shell will get hard. But then I like my shell to be heated up in the oven. Like, I'm too picky, right? And so I won't make that for the go. But I will make my chickpea tuna. I will make my veggie sandwiches. But I got to be careful there because sometimes my avocado makes the bread soggy. So you got to know these little things that, like, if I open this up 4 hours from now, will it still be yummy, room temperature, nothing soggy, nothing has to be heated or refrigerated. So you want to have a couple of meals that travel really, really well. And for me, that's definitely my chickpea tuna. That's always my homemade banana bread. I love making my banana bread to take on the road with me. I love making dishes that are like a pasta salad. I love a good pasta salad. I'll travel with that. Super easy, right? Things I can eat with crackers, things I can eat with bread, things that I can eat that, again, don't have to be refrigerated, don't have to be heated, and it's not going to be all soggy and weird after after a couple of hours, right? I'm not going to pre-dress a salad and travel with it, because then the greenery is going to be soggy. But having 2 to 3 meals that travel well, because even though I may have ordered my vegan meal for the Delta flight, I know their vegan meal, number one, it's going to be a small portion and I eat a lot. And then I also know that it's probably not going to be the most optimal. Like, they're going to have a crappy dessert in the vegan meal that I'm not going to eat because it's going to be sugar. So it's still not going to be enough. So I'll still take my food with me on a flight. That's really important, like really important. Melanie on Instagram said mushroom, arugula, and onion with a homemade special sauce. Okay, Melanie, like, is that your own recipe? Shout out to Kiwi, who said, did you say chickpea tuna? Oh man, I owe Kiwi some chickpea tuna. I used to make that for her all the time. You can make your own now. You're plant-based now, but I'll still make you some, friend. So it's really important that we have those meals that travel really well and that are really yummy, because they can be filling too, right? So you won't be feeling like you're starving. You won't be feeling deprived. You won't be feeling left out. So packing your own food when you can is always really helpful. I remember when I was a personal trainer, I was so serious. Like, I was one of those personal trainers, yo. I was so stereotypical. I had my lunch pail, my gallon water. I was like the poster child for personal trainer. Only wore leggings, only because y'all gonna get these quads, right? So like I was the poster child. I still got a couple of my lunch pills. I still got one of my lunch pills on top of my refrigerator right now. Like I was the poster child for taking my food with me because it was also kind of a flex, right? Like you be out with people or you're in the gym or you're somewhere. Like I would be in a hairdresser. I would be at some personal appointment. I'm pulling out my lunch pail, pulling out my meals. Like, no, y'all eat that crap. I come prepared because I value my health. It was such a flex. It was such an ego flex. I'm pulling out my healthy food, got my lettuce, got my spinach, right? So now I got to pack my food sometimes out of necessity, but it used to be a flex. I ain't gonna lie. And so, but packing your food, having your meals is super dope, especially if it's a road trip. It's the best, right? So I still to this day, like I go on a road trip with somebody, I make sure both of us have like food. We got bags of stuff. Like I'm here for the recyclable grocery bags. I got like a million of them, and I'm always like, throw some crackers in there, throw some fruit in there, throw all your favorite things in there, throw some pasta in there, right? And so that's still a thing, and it really, really helps out a lot because there's so much guilt that sometimes comes with eating junk. I know y'all know, right? Like it switches quick. Like initially you're looking forward to eating a little bit of junk, and then you reach your threshold of junk and you like, yo, I can't. I'm not eating another French fry. I'm not eating another, like, I feel like I'm dying a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like it switches quick. Like you be looking forward to traveling because you're like, oh, I'm gonna eat good. And then you be like, oh, this is going too far. Like I need an orange or something. I need a kiwi. You know what I mean? I need a banana. And so be mindful of that. I would say another one before I get to number 4, a bonus one that I think I forgot to mention was when I travel, especially if it's for leisure. So when I travel for leisure, one of the things I love doing is looking for vegan experiences to pay for. So when I went to Spain in 2020, I did Spain for a week by myself, and I did like I did Barcelona and Madrid, right? And I went on Airbnb experiences and I found a vegan food tour, right? So it was super cool because number one, I get to learn where all the vegan friendly places are in the area. And then I just have the experience, right? And so when I was in Spain, I did a vegan food tour where they took you around the city. And I can't remember if it was Madrid or Barcelona, but they took you around the city and you sample, vegan food from all these different dope places in the city. So I was trying stuff and I'm like, oh, I'm coming back here tomorrow for lunch, right? So it was a super cool way to learn more about the city I was staying in, and most importantly, learn where all the vegan and plant-based friendly places were. So book experiences like a lot of these cities too, they'll have one of the experiences I was trying to book for my clients this week when we're in Austin, the resort that we're staying at, for example, they have a plant-based cooking class. And so I was like, oh, I should book this for our clients, but the times didn't align with our schedule. But they have a plant-based cooking class on the resort. So also book experiences that incorporate your lifestyle because you get to have fun, but then you also get to discover and learn some stuff. So I do that a lot when I travel for leisure is I book plant-based experiences. Super dope. And so finally, number 4, the fourth way that I maintain my lifestyle while traveling, being busy or whatever is at home. At home, I really believe in paying for peace. And I also believe in being a minimalist. So what that means is like, I know some people, they love cooking. They're like chefs. They're like got recipe books. They got like recipe websites. They got like flip books with all of that. Let me tell you about my plant-based lifestyle. So my personal approach to plant-based living is super minimalist, y'all. Like super minimalist. Like I ain't got a slow cooker. I ain't got a crock pot. I ain't got an air fryer. Like I am very unsophisticated in the kitchen. Matter of fact, I have one pot. Yep, it's me. It's me. I have one pot. If everything don't fit into that one pot, then we not eating today. Okay. I have a pot. And wait, what's the other thing called that you boil stuff in? That's called a pot. What's the other thing called? Like a saute pan? It's like a saute pan, but it's deep. It's not like a pan that you would make pancakes in, but it's like it got a little depth to it. Whatever. I don't know the name of kitchen stuff, but okay. I have one big, like deep pot that I cook stuff in the stove, and I have one pot that I like if I need to boil pasta or something. Like I made some corn on the cob the other day and I boiled me some corn on the cob. It was so good and juicy, by the way. So like I'm a minimalist. Like I only wash one pot every day out to cook. Like this is how much I don't have time to be thinking about stuff. So at home, here's what works for me. I know some people are cooks. I know some people love having recipes and love being fancy. Like, ooh, I want to try these vegan crab cakes. Like, ooh, I want to make vegan pulled pork or vegan ribs or stuffed peppers and all of this. Let me tell you something. If you eating with me, if you eating over here, the amount of simplicity that's going to happen is probably going to be, it's either going to be real, real attractive or real, real boring. I don't know. But I would throw a stir fry together. I probably think the most complicated thing I make is my quinoa meat tacos that I make about once a week because I love them so much because that requires the stove and the oven. I'm like, whoa. 2 kitchen appliances in one meal, you're going too far now, right? More than 2 kitchen appliances in one meal is too much for me. Like if we use the stove and the oven, that's it. Like we're not also about to be blending. I don't have a food processor. I need y'all to understand how little I have in my plant-based kitchen. Okay. And so here's the takeaway. Don't feel pressure to be really fancy and have all of these gadgets to eat successfully on this lifestyle. Like because I'm so busy professionally, like I'm always coaching, teaching, doing deals, doing content. Like professionally, I have a crap ton of responsibilities. And so for me, I have to manage decision fatigue. Right. So when it comes to making decisions about what to eat and what to cook, I have to limit those decisions. So everything from what to cook in, how to prepare this, what about sauces, what about salad dressings, preserving this stuff. I just don't have the mental capacity to think about that, nor do I have the desire. I understand that some people actually have the desire because that's their jam. Like shout out to Coach Melanie. She is a plant-based chef. She does culinary cooking demos. I have a couple clients who are like that. In my coaching programs, I hire chefs to do cooking demos because you're not going to get that from me. I did them early on in my career. Don't like them. Hate everything about it. I'm like a really clean. I hate for my hands to get dirty. I hate mess, right? I just don't like mess. Like everything needs to be wiped down after everything I do is too much. So I need things to be simple. I need things to be clean and I need things to be quick. And so for me, it's going to be a quick stir fry. For me, it's going to be a quick smoothie. For me, it's going to be like a quick, a taco, a sandwich, things like that. That just has to be easy. And so for you too, if you're busy and you're new to this lifestyle, do not let these professional cooking people convince you that everything requires a recipe. I do not use recipe. I got like 4 or 5 recipe books in my kitchen that are collecting mad dust. Because I can't handle recipes. Right. And so like, I have to just be able to not think about that. Cause while I'm cooking, I'm listening to a podcast. Like while I'm cooking, I'm creating content in my head. Like while I'm cooking, I'm planning what I'm about to coach or do this masterclass on. I just need my mental real estate to be doing something else while I'm cooking. Right. And so do the same thing for yourself. Pay for peace. So pay for peace at home too. So that means like buying things that are already done for you. You can pay for peace by buying, fruits and vegetables that are pre-chopped. You can pay for peace. Like one of the ways I pay for peace, I just put my friend up on this, like, bro, you still cooking rice from scratch? Like we don't cook rice from scratch over here. Like, no, have you been to the Trader Joe's freezer section? Like they got boxes of rice that you pop in the microwave for 90 seconds. Like you got to pay for peace at home. Like you don't have to make all of this stuff from scratch. You don't have to have a recipe every time you cook. And most importantly, you do not need to have all these kitchen gadgets. Now, if you want to, it's cool. Like, by the way, like if you want to, it's fine. But I have 2 kitchen gadgets. The first one is a blender. The second one is a kettle because I drink tea. I can't even do nothing with a kettle but boil water. Those are my 2 kitchen gadgets, a blender and a kettle. Okay. Lisa, do you approve of using an air fryer? Yeah. But do I personally use one? No. Why? Because it takes up too much counter space and I don't understand it. Like, so I will eat air fried foods, but I don't have an air fryer. I used to have a toaster oven that wore me out. Like, I need y'all to understand, like, I literally only have the patience for things that happen in my office. I don't have the patience for things in the kitchen. And so if you are like that, I want you to know you can still live this lifestyle at a high level. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. You don't need a recipe every time you cook. Literally just make your pasta and take the meat out. Just like replace your meat and your spaghetti with mushrooms and vegetables and call it a day. Like, everything don't have to be a 10-point recipe. You don't have to be in the grocery store looking for these hard to find items because you need them for this one, because you're trying to recreate an Indian dish. Like, I remember I made a curry one time. I'm like, this is dumb. Get somebody else to do it. I'm not doing this. You want me to measure what, then chop what? Well, I need fresh ginger and garlic. Oh, I need coconut milk. Oh, I didn't get the curry powder. Wait, now I need turmeric. Wait, I'm like, you know what? Who's delivering the Indian? Like, from that day to this one, I ain't had Indian food since. Like, I just can't handle it. I cannot handle it. So if you're like me, I want you to know it is possible. You can do it. And it can be easier than what we've seen with other, because some of these recipes online, they look amazing, but it's like, did bro just make his bread from scratch? I'm not making bread from scratch. So that's why people get turned off by this lifestyle, because they see all this stuff like, is that what's required to eat plant-based vegan? Get somebody else to do it. But I promise you, you don't have to make your bread from scratch. You don't. You only have to learn how to read food labels. That's it. Pay for peace. I'm a big proponent of paying for peace. Like, I want to pay everybody to do everything as much as possible for me. Right. So it's not, you don't have to make your bread from scratch. You don't got to make your beans from scratch. You don't have to make your rice from scratch. Like, pay for peace. Now, you don't want junk to be added to it. Right. So when you buy beans, it should just be 2 ingredients, the black bean and the water. Right. When you buy the rice, it should be 1 ingredient. Trader Joe's, just brown rice. That's it. Right. So you don't want stuff pre-seasoned. You don't want stuff preserved. You don't want a bunch of added ingredients, but that doesn't mean you can't pay for peace. Okay. So it is a way to live this life more conveniently than what maybe you thought it was previously. And so it's possible. It's possible. Listen, if you want more tips like this, if you want to see what me and my team are eating every day, if you want to see how we live this no sugar lifestyle, this minimal oil lifestyle, then I need you to be in our 30-day vegan salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge. It is starting in just like a couple of weeks, y'all, on June 1st. So far, we have like 420 something people registered. I think that was the number last time I checked. We have 420 some people who are ready to come get this health. And so if that's you, if you're like, I need more tips like this, I need to figure out how to live this life in the most minimalist way as possible. I need to know how to make sure I get everything I need to live and thrive without eating animal products, then you need to be in my challenge, the Plant Protocol 30-day vegan salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge. If you are having health challenges, and like, whether it be weight, it could be mental health issues, emotional health issues from the neck down or the neck up, and you want to see what it would be like to use food as medicine, then I want you to join me June 1st through the 30th. Me and my team of coaches, you got me, you got Coach Kiwi, the plant-based athlete, you have Coach Milan, plant-based weight loss coach, you have Coach Tiff, plant-based chronic disease coach. Like, we all have phenomenal stories and experiences and testimonials that we're going to be sharing with you, how we all each individually live this lifestyle at a high level to maintain physical health, to maintain physical fitness, to keep chronic disease away, to combat being overweight. And like, we all have our super dope stories. So all of my coaches, we've been dropping content to our challengers all month of May. We still got another 11 days left in May. I just decided this morning that I'm about to drop some bonus content in the portal, because I just want people to be ready. And so we have a challenge portal. We have a challenge Facebook group, and then you're going to get a team of live coaches, and we're going to be with you guys twice a week for the entire month of June. Whew, somebody schedule my naps. Okay, so I'm going to be with you guys Wednesday night, Saturday morning for the entire month of June. I don't know if you've ever been to a challenge where somebody has committed that much time to make sure you get the result and you ain't even got to pay for it. What? what? Come on now. Come on now. And so I need you guys to get in this thing. If you want to live this lifestyle, but you're not sure where to start, or maybe you've been living the lifestyle, but you know, like Lisa, I've been living kind of the low vibrational version of this lifestyle, and I need to get my vibrational frequency up, then make sure you're registered. The 30-day plant protocol, vegan, salt, oil, and sugar free challenge. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to try and take, a little respite, a little rest at the end of May so I can go hard with y'all in June. And even if it don't happen, what I know about myself is that I'm going to go hard with y'all in June anyway, right? Because my rest is my responsibility. That ain't on y'all. So I'm going to be showing up and we're going to be fully active the entire month of June. So come get this help. Click the link in the show notes in the bio, wherever you are, to get registered for our 30-day vegan challenge so that you can take all these tips that I just shared with you and I can personally escort you through implementing them in your journey. Lisa, I'm traveling this week. What app was that? Lisa, I'm traveling this week. What's your favorite meal to cook on the road? We got you. We got you. So come join the 420 other people who decide to come get this health, and make sure you guys get registered for the challenge. We're super excited to see you. I will talk to y'all next Monday. Listen, next Monday is the 27th of May. Okay. Next Monday is the last live that I'm doing before the challenge starts. Next Monday, I'm going to be talking about how you need to prep to start for day one of your journey. Okay. So you guys need to make sure you're back here next Monday, especially if you're doing this challenge with us. I'm going to be dropping more gems next Monday about some things I need you to consider, like practical day-to-day things on what you should be doing, how you should be thinking, and the perspective you should have moving into this challenge. Because the way we're doing this challenge seems extreme, but that's because it's treatment for some of you. Some of you, you're unwell. You're unwell on a level that's unacceptable. Like there's no acceptable level of being unwell, but some of you guys, like based on like your age and the season you're in life, and most importantly, how much more you still want to accomplish, your health is at a point where it's more of a liability and an asset. And we need to get you guys to a point where your health is an asset, not a liability. So if you're a creator, if you're a speaker, if you are an author, if you are someone who has to use your gifts, your mind, creativity for a living, right? Then I need you guys to be at the top of your game. Like just not being sick is not enough. And some of us, we've been living so long with this very, very mid definition of health. Like, oh, I'm not sick, so I'm healthy. Okay. Like when, please, no, like not being sick is not enough. Y'all get it? Like not having a diagnosis is not enough. And so some of us are living with like, we're just passing. Right, we're just passing. Like, remember back in the day, like people used to like pass for white, like when they were lighter complected. Like some of you guys are just passing for being healthy. Like secretly, y'all sick, but y'all just passing because I don't have a diagnosis and my numbers are good. But every day I'm tired. Right. But I'm privately suffering with, mood challenges. Like every day I'm having these joint pains or these weird circulatory issues. Right. Like low key, like I'm having brain fog. Right. Like just because you don't have a diagnosis doesn't mean you're healthy. So you're passing, like you're tricking your healthcare provider into thinking you're healthy just because your labs come back good. That is not the only indicator of health. So I need you guys to raise the bar for what healthy means. And you're going to do that in the challenge with us, June 1st to the 30th. Okay. So we're going to raise the bar. We're going to swap out the definition for health. Okay. So you guys will stop believing that that healthy is only defined by the absence of a disease. You think just because I don't have a disease, I'm healthy. Not true. Okay. Okay, let me get off my soapbox and let me get back to work on other things. So I will talk to you guys next Monday. That is my last live before the challenge. And so make sure you're back here so you can have all the information and data you need so that we can come out the gate strong, because for these 30 days, you're going into treatment. It's not just, oh, I just want to see what vegan lifestyle is all about. I'm just plant curious. No, you're going into treatment. And so I'm going to treat you like you're in treatment, and you're going to hate me. You're going to love me at the same time. And it's going to be a beautiful thing. I love it. It's my favorite way to be loved and hated at the same time. It's going to be so beautiful. So I will see you guys next Monday. You guys have a phenomenal plant-filled week. Bye, y'all.